What's going on, everybody? Roll On Gaming is back on the airwaves, and I am Kevin. Nobody cares about that because joining us, as always, is the PQ champion of our local SoCal. I got to get it in one more time, and then everybody else can forget about it. My brother Corwin. Corwin, are you several weeks out now, or have you finally gotten off the high horse and you could just go back to your normal non-celebrity life now? Is that what we're doing?
Ay, ay, ay. It's how it's always been.
Uh huh.
It's, another 2 weeks of PQ results, it all gets swept under the rug.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Some very interesting results in the competitive environment. We're not here to talk about that though, because we've been sort of selling and teasing the fact that we were going to talk about Secrets of Power for the last two videos, and now it's finally time to talk Secrets of Power. And no time like the present because we just got a nice big wave of new cards revealed over the last week. So Corwin, I don't know how excited I am for the set yet, but I'm excited to talk about him at least and see where we get. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. Well, we will jump right into it. As always, if you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe and drop a like on the video. That helps us out a ton. And comment down below what you're most excited about for Secrets of Power. But let's get into it, starting with the Spotlight leaders for set 6. Now, we'll start with Chancellor Palpatine. Both of these leaders have something to do with the new mechanics in the set. Chancellor Palpatine, of course, being the plot leader. Everybody's seen this ad nauseum, but in case you haven't, as an action, you pay 1 and exhaust Palpatine to search the top 5 cards of your deck for a card with plot, reveal it, and draw it. Of course, plot now is the new mechanic that allows you to play cards with plot from your resource row, paying their cost when you deploy your leader, or a leader, I guess, depending on if you're playing Twin Suns or not. And then Palpatine flips on 7 as a 6/8, and when he is deployed, the next card you play using plot this phase costs 3 less. So let's start with plot, right? Plot is something that I think the game needs. I'm going to come out and say that to start because I think protecting the leader deploy on some level is beneficial for the health of the game. Whether or not that becomes a cost-effective thing to do remains to be seen. But overall, I think plot is a great idea and one that I hope continues to get built on as sets continue. What about you?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a great mechanic building off of what we already had in set 2 with Smuggle. Seeing as how Smuggle is going to rotate out pretty soon, this is kind of the next wave of that. And I think that what's really interesting about it is the ability to trigger, multiple cards out of the row with this. It doesn't have to just be one in one action. Plot is something that because you trigger on deploy, you could potentially stack some actions there. So I think it actually has potential to be a really strong mechanic compared to what we've had in the game. And but I do think that it's good to add some additional sort of power and flavor to these leader deploys, which is one of the most consequential actions you can take in the game. So I like plot a lot. I think it's going to be a really good addition to what we've already got going here.
Yeah, and look, nothing feels worse than deploying your leader and having it instantly removed from the board. Like nothing feels worse than that. Except maybe playing against an item deck that doesn't let you play the game, but that's neither here nor there. Uh, However, that being said, at least now with plot, you're getting some other things on the board at the same time. Now, sure, you're paying for them, but at least in Chancellor Palpatine's case, one of those is going to cost 3 less, which could help you, to your point, put out multiple things, or at least not pay as much for something that's larger or more consequential or things of that nature. I think because of the discount, this Chancellor Palpatine will have a decent look early on in set 6 because people are going to be trying the new mechanics and trying to see what they can make work with plot. And I think paying 3 less for something in a world where, as we'll see, there are some cards that are decently costly for plot, is going to help you out quite a bit.
Yeah, and there's a fair amount of plot in green, which, as we know, is the ramp color. So Palpatine coming out on 7, maybe you're kind of pigeonholed to some degree. It depends on how many plot cards we get in the different colors,
Mm-hmm.
but green would be kind of the first lean in my view, just because you're trying to get to that 7 faster, and then resource cheating is always good, right? So, yeah, playing something for 3 less and some of these cards that are coming in at 3, 4 cost can be really good as is, even better if they're, free or significantly reduced.
Yeah, and also like with the amount of hand hate that's going on in the current environment, whether or not that continues through rotation remains to be seen. But having access to some units or upgrades or whatever via plot in your resource row is never anything to sneeze at. So Palpatine at least has some interesting potential on the surface, I would say. Padme has an ability that hits on disclose, which is the other new mechanic in set 6. Padme says when you reveal or discard one or more cards from your hand, you may exhaust this leader if you do deal 1 damage to a unit. And then obviously on the flip side, has the same ability without having to exhaust. 6 cost 3/8. Unless disclose sort of pops off, I'm a little less keen to make Padme out to be what I would consider to be a good leader. But it's still so early, it's hard to tell. I just, discard mechanics and disclose mechanics are going to really have to take the game by storm if Padme is going to see any play outside of spotlight decks and maybe some pre-release shenanigans, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a free ability to do 1 damage is definitely good. We've seen that be good in other leaders too. Um, I think that it's what's more problematic is just the 6 deploy with only the 3 attack. That doesn't feel particularly strong. Um, Same stat line as I think Akbar at 6, and Akbar's not really seeing a ton of play right now. He's around, but he's not like omnipresent in the meta or anything. So yeah, I mean, I think in comparison to Palpatine, Padme's probably a bit weaker and requires, well, they both require build arounds, but I think, yeah, with Padme, you're really trying to take advantage of those. I mean, the nice thing about Padme is that you're, discard. It's a force throw meta, right? So if that stays in set 6, you can potentially trigger that off an action your opponent is doing, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's, it doesn't seem to be as impactful potentially as paying 1 to draw a card. That's pretty good rate for Palpatine's ability.
Better art though. Phenomenal Padme art.
Yes, indeed. Should be a great showcase.
I hope so, because if it's not, then I'm gonna wish that this was a showcase, and I'll be sad. But let's get into some of the cards that people haven't seen, and then a couple of the other ones that people have already seen. Let's be real. If you watched the stream, you saw or read the article on StarWarsLimited.com, you saw most of these. But we're gonna go through them, some quicker than others. Starting with the Chancellor's Shuttle. This is a 2-cost Vigilance Villainy space unit. You're getting a 1/3 Republic vehicle transport with Restore 1. And then when defeated, if you control Chancellor Palpatine as a leader or unit, you may give an experience token to a unit. Sure, fine. The Restore 1's nice, but 1/3 for 2, that gives an experience. If that's defeated, round 1 with Tarkin Town, as is so often to happen in this day and age, you're not getting any value out of this, which is tough. So I think it's fine. Nice art, but I don't know how quick I am to put this in a Chancellor Palpatine deck.
Yeah, and as just a general blue black space unit, I mean, you're not taking Inferno 4s out for this, right? So
No.
it's a little bit lacking, at least until rotation. Maybe it's a little bit stronger of a play then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I'm taking Onyx Squadron Brute out for this, and I'm not playing Onyx Squadron
Brute too,
currently. Yeah.
also
So,
true.
but potentially rotation proof. So that's a good point there. We have to start looking at these cards in the lens of rotation, and in the sense that it's
Very much so.
so many staples that we're used to in the space arena, in the ground arena as events are all going to be gone in March, with the exception of some reprints. But we'll see what that turns into. Moving right along to Newt Gunray. Newt Gunray also in Villainy and Vigilance. We're going to go in numerical card order here. He's a 3-cost ground unit, 3/4 Separatist official with Grit. And with Newt, when played and on attack, you may give another friendly official unit Sentinel for this phase. Now, Obviously, we've seen officials are going to be a primary focus in this set with spy tokens and also with just the sheer amount of officials that have already been revealed to this point. So Newt is basically protecting himself when he's played, and then also every time he attacks to make sure that potentially, unless there's a saboteur out there, he can't be hit back. Um, good flavor. It's a rare, so I imagine there's some uses for this that we haven't yet seen. But 3 for 3/4 with grit isn't bad on the surface. I don't hate it, and then some added protection. I don't hate that either.
Yeah, I think it's fine. The stat line is average. I mean, we had a similar effect of this with the first Captain Typho card. I forget which set that was from,
Yep.
but the 2/4 when played you give Sentinel, and that's not seeing any play. So I'm not sure this is really going to make a mark on any sort of competitive deck choices. But it's an interesting in an officials deck. It's an interesting kind of way to protect maybe not even him, but other units maybe you're trying to preserve.
I think if a Kira officials deck comes out of the set 6 meta, and you can play Newt Gunray as a 5/2 shielded that can't be attacked because there's so many sentinels on the board protecting him. I think that might be something that's interesting at least. Newt,
Yeah.
Newt Gunray doing 5 damage makes me laugh, sort of flavor wise,
Yes.
but there could be something there that you can mess around with. Um, so that'll be fun. Sly Moore, our first plot card of this rip. 4 cost, Vigilance Villainy for a 2/6 Republic official. It has plot. And then when played for this phase, each enemy unit gets -2/-0 while it's attacking a base. I do like this one. I think, it's going to be interesting to see as we go through these plot cards the cost efficiency of some of these, because I think what we might run into, and I guess we'll see as the more of the set gets fleshed out, but I think what we might run into is similar to in Twilight of the Republic when Exploit was introduced, and there were some cards that were just very clearly overcosted because they were meant to be exploited. Um, this one I think has a decently fair cost because of the when played ability, but I do worry that some of these plot cards are just going to cost too much for what they do because of the built-in plot. And so we'll just have to monitor and see, what that cost efficiency is when it comes to plot cards. But I do like this ability to, especially early on in the game, if you're playing this for 4, you don't necessarily just automatically resource this because it has plot on it, because that -2/-0 could provide some value early as well as late.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent ability, and the 6 health on a 4 cost unit is not bad either. Um, there's just not a ton of value for this card outside of the one played,
Yeah.
but that's not to say it shouldn't be played. I mean, we've had things like Jabba the Hutt come in at a similar stat line and be very effective and worth it. So I could see this being a decent include, but not universally.
Sure, sure. And throwing an upgrade on Slimemore and making just an insurmountable health total isn't the worst thing to do either. But again, I think you're playing
I
this for the
mean,
win played.
making it a Sentinel with its Gunray at 6 health, not terrible.
Not terrible at all. I agree. Moving right along to Cad Bane. We've seen this one before, but again, I included it just to have another frame of reference for the plot cost here. I think this one's actually really fair. 5 for a 4/5, but you get to defeat a unit with 2 or less remaining HP. And it is an underworld and a bounty hunter, which are relevant traits, even maybe not necessarily in vigilance. But Cad Bane, I think, is going to have a lot of play as a plot card specifically, just to sort of get another threat off the board when you deploy your leader potentially. So I like Cad Bane.
Yeah, I think this is a good card, and even though he's going to rotate soon, the Cad Bane leader, you deploy, you play this card. It's an underworld, so you do 2 damage to something, then you can trigger his when played.
Mm,
So like it's like pretty good. And the 4/5 at 5 is a stat line we've seen be somewhat effective. with cards like Bosk and others before. So I do like this one quite a bit. I think it's going to be a really good include for the 5 cost slot for
Yeah,
villain blue.
I agree. I agree. But this one's not as new of a card, so we won't spend as much time on it. Dogmatic Shock Squad is one that I
Hmm.
don't love a ton. Now it's a 6 cost
Mm.
vigilance villainy 4/6 Republic clone trooper with Sentinel, and it has plot. This is just one where I just see this exact stat line and ability elsewhere in Star Wars Unlimited, never seeing any play, right? So if you're looking specifically at the 6 cost 4/6, you've got the Pirate Battle Tank, which has Smuggle for 7, which is similar to plot. That's hardly seeing any play, if at all. You've got the Falchion Iron Tank, which is 6 cost 4/6 Sentinel, not seeing anything, obviously, because it's just a vanilla Sentinel. And there are better cards out there for 6. Obi-Wan is amazing, but Obi-Wan has so much else going for Obi-Wan that you can't really compare Dogmatic Shock Squad to Obi-Wan. Getting back to the differences between plot and exploit, the Droideka security is 6 for a 4/5, but has exploit 2 with Sentinel. So that again doesn't see any play. And then, if you want another direct comparison to more recent cards, the clearly very competitive intro battle Hoth does have a 6 cost 4/6 Bright Hope Sentinel that doesn't do anything else. So I'm a little concerned about this. Now, obviously, the caveat there with this being in Vigilance is if you play this with Palpatine's ability on deploy, then you're paying 3 for a 4/6 Sentinel. So that has to factor in. And if that's factoring into every single plot cost because Palpatine exists, then I don't really know how to feel about that. But I think on the surface, if you're not playing this with Palpatine, you're not playing it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think this is probably a Palpatine specific card because it's otherwise, I think, overcosted. I would even probably take the what is it, the Cloud City Wingguard, or which one is the
Mm,
4/4 shielded
yep,
that gives shields to Fringe?
that one.
Yeah, so like that's probably just better than this at 6 because even if it's only shielding itself, it's still a 4/4 shielded Sentinel.
Yep.
But I mean, the action economy of deploying and dropping a Sentinel like this um, could add to its attractiveness. But I agree. I think it probably doesn't see much play outside of Palpatine.
Well, and I do think that's a consideration that we're going to have to see as the set continues is just how valuable these extra deploys end up being to make them worth the
Mhm.
cost like this, right?
Yep.
Like if the meta swings in a way where if you're getting a sentinel alongside your leader, um, it's just backbreaking for your opponent, then yeah, maybe this is worth 6. But on the surface, I think without the discount, I think it's going to be tough, or without something to immediately protect it via maybe another plot card that gives it a shield or something of that nature.
Mm.
So we'll see what comes of Dogmatic Shock Squad. Great art though. Really can't wait to have this in hyperspace for sure, especially because it's common. Moving right along to another capital ship, which I love. Always love seeing new capital ships, especially Imperial ones, mostly Imperial ones. This is the Cantwell Arrestor Cruiser. People will recognize this from Andor. This is a 7 cost vigilance villainy, 6/7 in space. It's an Imperial vehicle capital ship, and when played, you may disclose vigilance, vigilance, villainy. If you do, exhaust an enemy unit, and that unit can't ready while this unit is in play. Keyword unit, not non-leader unit, which means
Right.
you can exhaust a leader with this. You can exhaust anything on the board with this, and it can't ready as long as the Arrestor Cruiser is in play. I love that ability. I think it's awesome. Obviously having to wait till 7 to play this is a little tougher for some of the early deploy leaders. But if you can get this off even on a Luke Skywalker, which I can't wait to rotate, my goodness, you're gonna feel pretty good about yourself, provided it can stay on the board.
Yeah. And I also think, yeah, I mean, by itself, I think it's a strong card, and then it's going to be really good with Piet if you can get it down on like 5. Um, be able to just knock something out even earlier than maybe it's intended to. So yeah, this one definitely feels like one of the better ones we got. Super strong ability that's really impactful.
Yeah, it's a really good point about Piet on 5 because You know, this that can really, you know, put your opponent in a tough spot if they don't have early removal,
Mhm.
you know, or something like a force lightning or a force throw to just knock this out of the sky. Um, I like this card a lot. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to get more capital ships always. Now, if I could just get my hands on a PX showcase, we'd be in business. Moving right along to a Donnie Pilgrim. One cost 1/3 fringe. Speaking of your Cloud City Wingguard, giving fringe unit shields. When played or when defeated, heal 1 damage from your base. Just a pretty solid 1-drop, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, as a one drop, you may not be getting the full effect with the when played if it's coming out turn one. Otherwise you got to sequence it a little bit to get the full effect. 1/3 stat line, fine. I mean, this is fine to me. I'm not sure how much I'm going to want this over other potential turn one plays.
Sure. I mean, it'll be good and limited, and you know, if you want to be healing your base, it's a good way to do it and also protect yourself from force throw. So, not a ton to be said here. Moving along to Armor of Fortune. This is sort of the meme that's going around, a nice little plot armor. What I don't love about this is the cost, 2 costs for a +0, +3. Yes, you get it with plot, but again, we're talking about, you know, the overcosting of some of these cards and effects just to get the benefit of plot. I mean, Resilient is this exact card and it costs 1. You know, and you have so many 2 cost upgrades, which is the same as this, that have +1 power and +3 health. Mandalorian armor, Kylo saber, bolstered endurance, ascension cable. Like, these are cards that don't see play, and they have better stats than this. So it just, again, it's just going to depend on how much you're relying on that plot and the deploy and protecting your leader or another unit. You know, maybe this is something that's worth playing on that 6 cost Sentinel that we were just on to give it 3 more health. But, you know, shield's probably just more valuable than that there.
Yeah, you're just really seeing the action economy being priced in here, and that's why you're playing this card, is
Yeah.
to be able to flexibly drop it on your leader when you deploy or some other unit that's valuable to you. So I get the two costs. It's not going to feel on rate compared to those other examples you mentioned, but I can also see it still having an impact because of the fact you can attach it, in the same action essentially as your deploy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, paying for the action economy is essentially what you're doing here, and I get that. So again, we'll see. I don't mean to be such a negative Nancy here, but you know, that's I there's a lot to learn about the new set, and I think that we're gonna learn it in time. Charged with Murder. This is a part of a series. Apparently, there's going to be a card like this in every color. This is the blue one. 4 cost event. It's a law, which apparently is going to mean something if you believe what they were saying on stream. And you may disclose 2 blues. And if you do, you defeat a damaged non-leader unit for 4. I mean, it's great against Han too. But you know, another blue removal piece that can defeat a non-leader unit, as long, you know, there's the caveat that it's damaged, but for 4 cost, there are plenty of decks that can just deal you know, damage like it's nothing without a ton of effort. So maybe this turns out to be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm watching these types of cards very closely because, again, with rotation in mind, we've had these four cost blue staples for a long time now. Um, we've had Takedown and Fell the Dragon and Vanquish. These are all cards we're not going to see anymore after rotation, most likely.
Yeah.
And so, what does the removal look like then afterwards? And we've seen it be more conditional. We've seen it have strings attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
This is just another one of those examples. And this one feels a little bit more restrictive, I think, than others that we've seen. So
Yep.
I'm not really a huge fan of this card. I think it's actually quite narrow,
Mm-hmm.
and and on top of that, like disclosing 2 vigilance is in my estimation a pretty hefty price to pay. So I'm not a huge fan of this one, and I'm curious to see how it aligns with the rest of the kind of removal suite we see on a post rotation basis.
Well, speaking of the rest of the removal receipt we see on a post rotation basis, how about Retaliation? This is a 5-cost vigilance event. It says defeat a unit that dealt damage to a base this phase. Not only good in Premier, but also good in Twin Suns. But if you're playing removal in Twin Suns, then shame on you. I like
And good
this.
and limited too.
Yeah.
This one is just much more flexible. And even though it costs one more, I think paying one more for extra flexibility in what you can remove from the board is oftentimes a trade I'm willing to make. And so I would much prefer this card to the previous one.
I mean, this is essentially a Rival's Fall for 1 cheaper because you can defeat a leader with this.
You can defeat a leader. Exactly.
So, I think this will be another neutral vigilance removal staple that we can all enjoy to the end of time. But no complaints here. I think this is a card that we'll see some play, and I don't mind it at all, unless it's in the aforementioned Iden deck, in which case, go away.
I mean, the problem with it, right, is that you have to wait for something to swing to base first, and that can be problematic. It doesn't allow you to be proactive.
Sure.
So that's where its limitation is. But in terms of the, it is more liberal in terms of options you can remove.
Sure. Let's continue with the command cards now. We'll start with an easy one, Corrupt Politician. 1-cost command villainy for a 2/2 Republic official. And while you control more units than an opponent, this unit gains Sentinel. 1 cost for a 2/2, I don't hate. Even if you're not getting the ability off. I mean, obviously, if you are, it's great, but you're just going to lose it anyway if you are. So, if you're trying to swarm, it's more than likely that you'll be able to get this. And if not, then it's just another official that you can buff or use to your advantage in other ways. I think this will be not a bad card in decks that look to capitalize on the amount of officials that are going to be in the set, and also loading up on spies if that's your thing.
Yeah, I think this card feels fine. It could be interesting in like a Snoke deck, making it a 3/3 on turn 1. But it's not something I see seeing a ton of play. Unless you're trying to swarm, and that are you trying to play this card then if you're trying to do that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it can help protect some of your better pieces if you are trying to swarm. If you clearly have a card that's going to be vital to your game plan, and you're going wide, and you drop the Corrupt Politician, or you have it already, that just goes to show that when your opponent's making choices about what to attack, they're not attacking your good piece. Obviously, things like removal get around that, but they're always going to get around that. So. I am worried, and I think it'll either be next or so Major Partagaz is the next one, which we've seen. But I included this to sort of talk about like the potential trap here, right? I see Major Partagaz, I see the 0/6 overwhelm that can just continuously get buffed. When another friendly official unit attacks, the unit gets +2/+2 for this phase. And I just worry about a trap. I worry about spending so much time devoting your resources to dropping cheap officials, or feeling like you need to attack to go wide to set this up, right? We've seen cards like this previously that have not really materialized when it comes to like buffing based on other units. Like I'm thinking specifically of Captain Enoch. When that card was revealed, everybody was pretty high on it, and then with the exception of, I think, a Dr. Afro rogue deck that's been floating around, Captain Enoch's nowhere to be found, and that is not an ability that needs to take so long to get, ramped up, because Major Partagaz is only going to go up with each individual attack. So I just worry that this is a trap. Like in theory, this is a really good card. And I would be excited for it if it turned out to be a really good card. Because it could just sort of get insane and bonkers and things of that nature. But I wonder if you're going to spend so much time, thinking about whether or not you can, then rather than thinking about whether or not you should, to sort of paraphrase Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I think it's just too slow for me is my issue. Because even if you play it turn 1, then you got to get another official online, right? And then you got to attack with those officials. And then all of that just opens up more and more windows for your opponent to respond. you know, and then if it's not coming in turn one and you still get the benefit of it, then what are you doing with it? Um, because it starts out as a 0 attack, so you can't even like effectively barrage or craving power off of it. So I don't think it's just too slow for me.
Hmm.
The 6 health for 2 is insane,
It's
but
awesome.
it's just too slow. So I don't know where this fits.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, this is going to be a unit that's very hard to kill via Tarkin Town on turn one.
Yes, that is true.
So, so if nothing else, there's that.
Target
Um,
Town that's rotating out in 2 sets.
right, right. But still very prevalent.
I
So
mean, he's an Imperial, like
yeah.
Tark. I mean, talk about rotation. Tarkin can buff him up more.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm not sure where he fits. That's the thing.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see on Partagaz.
Yeah,
I really do like the Chancellor Palpatine unit, though. I think this unit
yeah,
is very strong. 3 cost command villainy, 2/2 Republic official, but when played, if you control a leader unit, create 2 spy tokens and give those tokens Sentinel for this phase. It has plot. So again, with the Chancellor Palpatine leader in this set, you're playing this for free and getting 2 spy tokens that both have Sentinel. Um, I think in any plot deck or in any deck really that wants to protect the leader deploy from units that are on board, Chancellor Palpatine is great. I it's not 1 Sentinel, it's 2 Sentinels. You're getting uh 4 units on the board at minimum when you're deploying, depending on what other plot cards you're playing. So I'm definitely in on this card. I think it's one of the best ones we saw in this drop.
Do we know what the spy token stats are?
We do. There's 0 cost 0/2s with raid 2.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the Sentinel is only really there to sort of protect. You're not gonna like do any damage back, but
Correct.
still potentially impactful. Well, definitely impactful. And yeah, I mean, we've seen this like leader deploy create tokens and things be somewhat effective with like Rex, right? When he can create different unit types on his deploy, and this is kind of a similar effect. So yeah, Palpatine can do it for free, but even if you're paying 3 for this, I think you're feeling okay about it.
Hmm.
And then if villain wants to go like the mono green unity of purpose route, like that also makes this a little bit interesting. So yeah, I think this is a good card.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Rex and Unity of Purpose because Rex can play this for 5 on his deploy with clones and battle droids from Droid Manufactory and
Yeah,
have clones, himself, Palpatine, spies, and battle droids all to play with Unity of Purpose the next turn.
yeah,
So I saw
yeah.
that on Discord somewhere, and I just started shaking my head because nobody needs that, but it's also hilarious, and I'm in.
It's very funny.
So yeah, if you're not careful, Unity of Purpose can pop off, and especially with this, it can do it in a big way. But I really like this Chancellor Palpatine unit, and it's a rare, which is nice. ISB Shuttle is the next one. 3 cost command villainy for 3/2 Imperial vehicle transport. When played, if a friendly unit was defeated this phase, create a spy token. So your 0/2 Sentinels that just came out on your deploy, you can replace one right away with the ISB Shuttle.
Yeah, I think this is a decent card. I mean, it's not like terribly strong, but 3/2 for 3 is not bad for space. And then you also get the spy token. Um, yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, you're potentially getting 5 attack on base or 5 attack total if you're able to get an attack off with that spy token for 3. It's a yeah. I mean, stat wise, it's a
Now,
5/4
spy
for 3.
tokens, they're like the other tokens, right? Where they don't have traits, so they're not
They
officials
are
or anything.
officials. They are officials.
They are officials. Interesting.
Nice of you to pay attention, Corwin. You've been busy with set 5 winning PQ, so we'll give you a pass this time around. But yes, they are officials and they are 0/2s with raid 2. Moving right along to Mos Ameda. I that. It's a 4 cost command villainy for a 3/4 Republic official. When played, give an experience token to each of up to 2 other official units, and also has plot. So there you go. You play the Palpatine, you get the official units, then you play the Masameda, you buff up your Sentinels or buff up your non-Sentinel officials, and you're chilling.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think at 4 it's probably overcosted, but
Yes, I agree.
um but I think it's a fine card. Do we have any other official, like, what are other official leaders that we have in the game?
I mean, there's a ton, right? You've got Krennic, you've got Tarkin, you've got Palpatine, you've got Thrawn, goodness, Leia. I think Leia. No,
Well,
maybe
okay.
not Leia.
Thinking about villainy in particular from the last two sets, I just assumed you would know this off the top of your head, Kevin, being the database of SWU knowledge that you are.
I mean,
But
I just named a bunch, so there's a
from
real
the first three sets, though, like from the more recent sets, do we have? I'm just curious if there's other leaders besides the new ones coming out in set 6 that could potentially benefit from
so
this
lucky for
effect.
you, I have the internet, which means I have the technology. In set 5, there's Snoke, right? So
Yeah,
that's one, and that's
there's some
pretty.
synergy there with
There's
Snoke.
yeah, it's the same. It's the same aspects, which is great. Hilariously, that is the only official available. Without
Yep,
even
that's
looking,
what I
I
was
can
wondering.
tell you that Piet's an official. But
Ah,
also Thrawn, and then Holdo's a heroism unit, and then that's it. Oh, I sorry. Admiral Trench is also an official.
oh boy, our boy Trench.
Yeah,
Okay.
which hilariously enough, Admiral Trench may be one of the biggest beneficiaries of plot.
Yes, yes, that is true because he can obviously he deploys multiple times. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
very
your
interesting.
point of calling out some of the officials that are leaders in the current cycle is to see sort of where Masameda might fit in outside of a Palpatine.
Or any of these cards, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to see if there's maybe any extra value that could be gained. I like the Snoke because your Snoke's already trying to buff people, right? So then you do
Yeah.
it even more with this. That could be interesting.
Yeah. Sure could. Yeah, and then you could also buff your Snoke, which is great. So moving right
Right.
along, Vice Admiral Rampart, 4 cost command villainy for a 3/6 Imperial official. Before we read the ability, Corwin, Vice Admiral Rampart, of course, is.
That's such a vague question.
Where do we see Vice Admiral Rampart?
Oh, you would ask me that.
I would
You're
ask you
gonna
that.
you're gonna embarrass me in front of all our viewers.
Yeah, that's okay.
It was one of the animated series. I can't remember.
I think my point is there are plenty of people who do not know who Vice Admiral Rampart is, and yet
Oh, okay.
here he is. Uh, the ability for this 3/6 Imperial official for 4 is on attack. You may disclose green, green, black, and if you do, give an experience token to each of up to 2 other units. So disclose up to 3 cards, or yeah, I would say up to 3 cards, 2 or 3, and then get 2 experience along with your 3/6. I think this is fine. This is a rare, so I'm sure there's something going on here, but I don't see it.
Feels a similar spot to Masameda for me. It's
Yeah,
like very very similar card.
yeah,
So
but no plot,
fine.
so you have to play this
No
strict
plot
command.
though.
Yep,
Right.
yep. We can move right past Vice Admiral Rampart. Really great art, though. I'd love to see this on a playmat, but I
Mm.
won't. At least not yet. Uh, Dedra Miro, 6 cost command villainy ground unit for a 5/5 Imperial official with ambush on attack. Create a spy token. Man, I tell you, I really want to like this card, but 6 for a 5/5 ambush, despite the fact that you're creating the spy token, is rough, and I
Yeah, I agree.
don't think I like it.
Yeah, this is just overcosted. I don't see it making the cut,
Yeah, I don't.
especially when you're in villainy and you've got Vader on the same price point, who's like so much more impactful, right?
Well, yeah, that's
Granted, you
yeah,
have to ambush him in. I understood, but like,
natively sure, but
yeah,
even to your point, you've got eighth brother with
yep,
2 more health,
yeah,
6 cost
exactly.
5/7.
There's another 5/7, 6 cost 5/7 with ambush that got spoiled, isn't there? I don't know. I can't remember if it's a hero card.
There is a 6 cost 5/7. I do not believe it has ambush. I think we'll get to it here in a couple cards.
Okay.
So we'll wait and find out. I hope to be wrong about Dedra. And maybe there's a Dedra leader that makes this really good. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I know producer Pops is celebrating the existence of Dedra Mira, so there's that. All right,
Oh boy, here we go.
Can we not, with the really good 2-drop hero cards, can we not anymore? Like, I think we have enough. So this is Mina Bonteri. This is a 2-cost heroism command. 2/4 separatist official with restore 1. And when defeated, you may disclose green, green, white. And if you do, draw a card. I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
Staple.
Have another one. Right? Like,
Staple.
what are we doing?
In the same way Yaddle will be a staple for Hero Blue for sets to come, this is a staple in the same way for Hero Green. Like, it's just such a good turn 1 play.
Heroism units are eating, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So good.
There's not much to be said other than this card's really good and you should get it.
Yep. Just play Mina Bonteri if you're in Green Hero.
Yeah, you have to. It's a really good card. Anyway, moving along, not bitter at all. Ahsoka Tano, 3 costs, command heroism for a 2/5 Force Jedi Republic. When this unit completes an attack and survives, you may disclose green white. If you do, attack with another unit. Weirdly, I know this is a 3 cost, but weirdly I like this a lot in the later game when you need to push damage. It's going to be harder to have the right cards to disclose in the late game, so that makes it a bit tricky. But if you can get an upgrade on Ahsoka and then use this to, sort of attack and then attack with a bigger unit and just push damage that way, I think that's going to be decently valuable. On turn 2, dropping this, I don't think it feels great. 3 for a 2/5 has not proven to be super useful, but time will tell.
I actually like the 5 health here because she has to survive an attack, right? So if you want to go into a unit, having the extra booty is going to really help there. Even just thinking about like set 1 Ezra, where he had to complete an attack to get his ability off, but he only had 4 health. Sometimes that was a liability. This at least gives her maybe a little bit more staying power, even if she's not doing as much damage back.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, green, white, that's basically 1 card, and then you can get some action economy in. So I actually think she's pretty decent.
Yeah, and look, you want the 5 health, you just don't want the 2 power. And if you're playing this early, there's no guarantee you have the resources to be able to complete, or not to complete the attack, but to attack with something else anyway. Because if your turn 1 was removed, or however you want to look at it, it's just a little trickier. But again,
it's just upside at that point.
Yeah,
I think,
sure.
and I'm fine with that.
Also, another.
Plus, she's a 14.
Yeah, another carrier for Ahsoka's lightsaber, which can't hurt because that's a great.
Or General's Blade. Yeah.
Also true.
Really good.
Also true. Moving right along to the Naboo Royal Starship. I love this card. Speaking of heroism eating, like, again, anyway, 4 cost command heroism, space unit, Naboo vehicle transport. You're getting a 2/5 for 4 here, but it's worth it. This has plot, and each friendly leader unit gains raid 2 and overwhelm. I'm in. I'm so in. Like, this is, and maybe I'm overthinking this or underthinking this. I don't know which one at this point, but like, how do you not put this in Sabine immediately?
Yeah. Well, because it's a 2/5 in space. I mean, that's like, the 2 power is not great for a deck that's trying to be aggressive.
No, but you're not.
Yeah, of course. Like,
yeah, you're not playing it for that.
Getting the raid 2 on your leader when she flips is definitely strong.
Yeah, and
strong.
And realistically, putting this in leader Ahsoka to almost guarantee the coordinate, and which gives Ahsoka additional power. So now you're hitting for what, 7 with overwhelm on 5? That seems good.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it's just it's a good card, and obviously it's bananas in Twin Suns.
Oh yeah,
Um,
disgusting.
but yeah, this is a really good card, and definitely something for Green to consider. I mean, um, it's too, yeah, it's not a rebel. Otherwise, it'd be super amazing with Leia.
Mm,
But
hmm
it's still going to be really strong, regardless of kind of what your leader configuration is.
Yeah, and just as we're keeping track here, we spend all this time trying to get two amazing cards in villainy in this sort of cycle of reveals. We saw the Arrestor Cruiser and we saw Chancellor Palpatine. And it took us all of 5 minutes to find two great cards in heroism once we got to command. And
I think Cad Bane was another good one for villain.
Cad Bane is decent. I will give you that. But again, we don't know. We don't know. All this, take all this with a grain of salt. But that's what we're here for. We're here to speculate, and it's fun. Oh god, it just
Here's another good one.
the hits just keep coming. Look at Mon Mothma, 7 cost, command heroism for a 5/8 rebel official with restore 3. And when played, you may attack with a number of units one at a time, even if those units are exhausted. I have to assume that includes Mon Mothma. They can't attack bases for these attacks. Wowzers, this is awesome. I don't know if it's going to be any good because it can't hit bases, but the ability to just attack with all your units, hit base, then drop Mon Mothma and take out a bunch of your opponent's units because you're attacking into them. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. My only issue with this card is that she's competing with Keller and Beck. And I understand you can play both,
Mm-hmm.
but um having two like really amazing cards in that slot now in Green Hero I might favor Keller in just a little bit, but she's still like really really good for what she does. And um you know me and my restore threes, Kevin. We
Mm-hmm.
love to see that on a on a unit, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
here for it.
I oh boy, I don't know. I mean those are some champagne problems right there. When you have to deal with Mon Mothma and Keller, and like you have to decide between Mon Mothma and Keller and Beck. Oh no, I feel so bad for you.
You're just playing both, I guess.
Yeah, just play them both and play Ewing Reinforcement and play Han Solo and play Luke Skywalker and play every other good 7-drop heroism card that is in existence because they're
And then you
everywhere.
just play Yoda on 8, and
I
you're
trust
feeling
me,
good.
I know. Or home one and bring back a. There's no trauma here. I promise. There's no trauma. All right. Dismantle the conspiracy. 6 cost command heroism tactic event. A friendly unit captures any number of enemy non-leader units with a total of 7 or less remaining HP. It's Cad Bane on a stick.
Yeah, but at least with Cad Bane, you get a 7/7 unit on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So can't I can't really vouch for this card. Not leaving a body behind and paying 6 feels rough.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. I think you're. It's really hoping that you have a contingency plan in place to be able to keep that unit that's doing the capturing alive, whether it's shielded or can't be attacked or something. But yeah,
Yep.
that's a fair point. Is a rare though, hilariously enough. So we'll see. Moving right along. Plot costs to this point we've seen have been decently. They've been up there. The Jar Jar Binks is perfectly costed. 2 costs, 2/1 command. Naboo Republic Gungan official. When played, you may give another friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase, and it's applied. I'm in. Sign me up.
Yeah. And neutral as well.
Yeah.
So can go in a villain deck and um yeah, I think it's a good effect. I think it's a very fair effect for a 2 cost unit.
Well, as we know, Jar Jar Binks is inherently villainous, so there's that. Uh, all right. Tailender Shuttle. Not going to spend hardly any time here. This is a 3 cost, 2/4 fringe vehicle transport on attack. If you have the initiative, create a spy token. This is going to be good and limited. I don't see any other use for this.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I like the 4 health on a 3 cost space unit, but that's about it.
that's about it. Nubian Star Skiff. I like significantly more. 4 cost command space unit for a 4/4 Naboo vehicle transport. While you control an official unit, this unit gains restore 2. 4/4 restore 2 in space. I'm in.
Yeah, this reminds me a little bit of that 3-cost ship
Consortium
that
Star Viper.
had restored to when yeah, when you had the initiative.
That's the one.
Similar kind of slot here. Costs one more, but you're still getting the 4/4 stat line. So that card saw some play early in set one. I could see this one maybe in an official deck kind of filling a spot too.
Yeah, and especially because like the the initiative is something that you can lose pretty easily. I think if you're
Yep.
executing your game plan, it's easier to keep an official unit on board than it is to keep the initiative. So,
Yeah, agreed.
so, we'll see if that comes to fruition. Here's your 6 cost 5/7, the Naboo
Yeah,
Security
that's it.
Force. This is a neutral command ground unit, 5/7 Naboo Trooper. And when played and when defeated, you may disclose command. If you do, give a friendly unit Sentinel for this phase.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is good.
I mean, I personally think that this to me is better than Dedra
I
at
agree.
the same price point.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is better than the dogmatic security force or
Yes.
whatever it's called. So
5/7 we've seen to be a very formidable stat line for 6 drops. We've seen Anakin obviously now just seeing a bunch of play. But even as you mentioned before, Eighth Brother feels really good at 6. I think this is a good card, and I think that um, it's going to be really tough to deal with when it comes in because
yeah,
it can give itself Sentinel and it's got 7 health.
yep.
That's definitely a big deal.
Seems good. Seems good. Unveiled Might. 4 costs, command upgrade, +2/+3 plot. This is a tough one. This is a tough one for me because again, action economy, playing it to buff your leader immediately. But 4 for +2/+3 is rough. It's so rough. Like, just play Fallen Lightsaber. Just play Constructed Lightsaber. Just play Jedi Lightsaber. Just play any like Maul's lightsaber, right? Darth Maul's lightsaber. Like, you have to wait in action to play those, but they're better for cheaper. So it's just how like it's going to be about how you find that balance point between having to wait around versus not. Now again, the continued caveat that we're going to have in every single one of these conversations is this costs 1 with Chancellor Palpatine. And there,
Right.
it's awesome.
Well, yes, I agree, and even more so along similar lines, I think the blue one we saw earlier, the 2 costs it gives +0/+3 is just straight better than this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're still getting the same amount of health for 2 less. So you're essentially paying 2 extra resources for 2 power. That's highly inefficient.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Really cool art though.
Yes.
So maybe that factors into the cost as well, but we'll see. Again, making your Palpatine an 8/11 for 1, it's pretty good. But we've still got X amount of months until Bamboozle rotates out, so that remains to be seen. Moving right along to budget scheming. This is a 2-cost command event. Give an experience token each of up to 3 official units. We've seen cards like this. We saw it last set with Hidden. They don't see play. Moving right along.
Moving right along.
Yeah. Here's your green version of the cycle of disclose events. This is Charged with Corruption. For 3-cost command, you may disclose double command. If you do, a friendly unit captures an enemy non-leader unit. Oh, this actually isn't a part of the cycle. Oh no, this is a part of the cycle. Yeah, it's a disclose thing. So yes, but I don't hate this. I don't hate this because it doesn't have an arena restriction. I don't love the disclose part of it, but the fact that it doesn't have an arena restriction makes this a little bit more palatable to me.
Yeah, I could see that. Remind me, take captive, is that arena specific?
I believe so.
Yeah. So you're trading the disclose factor for the ability to cross arenas,
Yep.
which I think I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Moving right along into With Thunderous Applause. Now, this is the one. This is one of the cards that gives you, when you disclose, it gives you the ability to do something again. We're going to see this card, and then we're going to see a yellow card later on that does this. This is With Thunderous Applause, a command event. Give a unit +2/+2 for this phase. You may disclose command. If you do, give another unit +2/+2 for this phase. Again, these sort of static buff cards that don't feature any action economy have been tough to see play. I don't know if this one does it either.
Yeah, it's too slow. It's like a mini attack pattern delta, which that didn't see play either.
Yeah, agreed.
Mainly because it's double green, but also just not an effect I think would really stick.
Moving right along to as we continue with the cycle of heroism, 2-cost 2/4s.
So good.
Bail Organa is here in Cunning. 2-cost 2/4 Republic official. On attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, create a spy token. Obviously, really great with Padme. Sure. I mean, it's good.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. I mean, R2 was you were discarding one to draw one, right? And people were playing that when R2 yellow R2 got released. I think this is right in that same vein. I think it's a good card.
Do you think the discarded card is worth the 0-2 Raid 2 official?
I think it is if you're triggering something else off of that. So obviously Padme synergy there for sure, but then also getting something else in your discard pile. Um, you're you want to be cheeky and play this in blue and put villain cards in your deck so you can trigger Anakin. Like there's just like if you have other purposes for it, I think it can be really powerful.
I don't hate this with Migs Mayfeld.
Right.
Deal 2 damage, get a spy token every time that Bail attacks.
Yeah, seems good.
That seems good. All right, moving along here, chugging through. There's not a ton to be said about the Bravo Squadron fighter other than it has really good art. But a 2-cost 2/3 Naboo vehicle fighter that has Saboteur in space this is basically draft fodder.
Yes. We're not seeing a ton of units with Saboteur these days, so that's interesting to me. And because I've been playing a lot of Poe lately and I've been looking for good 2-3 ships in space, I actually think this is a welcome sight. But, we're just used to these cards being a dime a dozen because we have 5 sets to go off of. But later on, I think it's going to be an important card for Hero Yellow.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. And look, if you put a pilot on this and you give it Saboteur, then Sentinel's not going to help your opponent. And
Right.
maybe there's something to be said there. It certainly would be nice to not have to worry about Concord Dawn interceptors with this in the field. So I don't hate that. Continuing on to Anakin Skywalker. This is an older card, but I left it in here just because it's pure nonsense value. 3 costs, Cunning, Heroism, 3/4. Force Jedi Republic with Hidden. And while you control Padme as a leader or unit, this unit gains Raid 2. We've got 3-cost 5/4s now. They fly now. That's what we have.
But
really
only
good.
with Padme. So that's the issue, right? Is you have to play Padme in some capacity here. And historically, Padme cards have not been good. So is the payoff or the trade-off worth the payoff? That's the question for me, and I'm not convinced that it is.
Well, I think it'll remain to be seen whether or not the new Padme leader is good.
Right.
I've already gone on record as saying I don't know that it is, but we'll see. But I think it's made a lot better with these last couple cards with Anakin and with Bail. So there you go. Hunter, 6 costs, Cunning, Heroism, 7/6 Fringe Clone with Saboteur. And on attack, if the defender is exhausted, it gets -4, -0 for this attack. I actually like this Hunter. I know some people don't, and that's fine. But the on attack ability to me is something that's super interesting.
Yeah, I have to disagree with you on this one. This is a 6-cost unit that doesn't do anything when it hits the field. So for me, this is not a good card.
I get that aspect of it, but I think one, this is another one that you can give ambush and can be pretty effective for you. 7/6 Saboteur is nothing to sneeze at. You're not going to be able to protect your opponent's units or your base with a lot of these Sentinels that we're seeing. And then also, being able to survive multiple hits with that 7 power if you're attacking exhausted units, that feels pretty good to me. Now, again, you want to be affecting the board at 6, and I understand that, but I don't know. I think
if you want an effect like this, like just play the 6-cost Enfys Nest, because she can ambush and still get the -3, -0. Like it's just better.
Yeah, and that card hardly sees any play, so maybe maybe you're onto something there. But I don't know. I'm at least gonna like give this card the time of day and see what what we can cook up with this hunter. But you know, I do understand the point about not affecting the board, and that's an important point. Oh boy, sneaking suspicion, 2 costs +1/+1 plot again. Overcosted, overcosted to me.
Yeah,
I can't get behind it.
I don't think this card is playable.
No, I don't either. Which is unfortunate because it's got really good art. But here we are.
Very good art. Love the art.
Here's Bogged Down in Procedure. 3 costs, cunning event. Exhaust a unit. You may disclose cunning. If you do, exhaust another unit. Pretty good.
Yeah, feels 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 good, and is probably right where it should be at 3. So
Yeah.
doing very yellow things.
Yep. Yep. Political Bully is a 3 cost villainy unit. You get a 2/3 Republic official on the ground, and when played, if you control another official unit, you may deal 2 damage to a ground unit. Not bad. The damage is nice. The stats are not. You can't play this unless you have an official unit, so this could just potentially be a brick in your hand, which is unfortunate. I don't know. I don't feel very highly about this one, despite the added damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to set up that charge with murder card if you're in blue.
Mm.
But like, it's very corner case. Like you're playing officials, and then you do that. You're playing in blue. Yeah, it's this is a tough one to get behind, but I could see it having some like I said, like corner case value.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically a slightly better but more restrictive Tie Dagger Vanguard, at least how I see it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Moving right along to When Has Become Now. Again, this is an older card, but wanted to include it because of 2 important points. One, you can play a plot card for 1 more without deploying your leader, which I think
Not
is
deploying, right?
which I think is something that could be potentially pretty useful. Obviously we've seen the effectiveness of tech. This is just tech on a stick for plot. And then the other part of this is I'm sure there will be a ruling or discussion that is had when this card actually releases to make it known that this is not just a ramp card. This is not a do as much as you can thing to where you can pay 1 and just get a free resource. So if you see that, don't panic. But yeah, this card has the potential to be pretty good if plot pops off. Especially as like a late game thing when you've already deployed your leader and you need to get some more use out of some plot in your resource row.
Yeah, I agree. Always interesting to have something like this in the game. So, if things like timely intervention are seeing play, this will probably have some sort of role somewhere.
Yeah, and also more Krennic art is not something that we ever need to be upset about. So there's that.
Yes.
B2 Emo. 1 cost 0/4 Fringe Droid with Restore 1, and on attack you may disclose double white. If you do, give a unit Sentinel for this phase. I don't know where you stand, but I think this card's bad.
It seems great with Babu Frick.
It does seem great with Babu Frick. Yes, it does.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who's played so much Set 2 Ray, she really likes this card too, but I don't know that it's really going to be something you want outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, that 0/4 stat line, even for 1 is it's tough to overcome.
Just play Owen Lars. It's just better.
Right. Agreed. And then the last one before we get to some special treatments is Moral Authority. 3 cost heroism upgrade attached to a friendly unique unit. And when played, attached unit captures an enemy non-leader unit with less remaining HP than it. And you get +2 power +0 HP for this. This is basically the mirror image of Legal Authority for 1 more. because
Yeah,
it was
or the Mandalorian's rifle, I think. Didn't that
yes,
also capture a unit?
it did.
And that card never saw any play, so
Yeah.
I don't think this one will either.
This one will be tough. It's good. I will say it's good that it's in heroism because Kylo did not need any more help.
That's true. Yes.
So before we get into the special treatments of cards that we saw, which I really like, I just want to sort of make a point that I've just been thinking about as we've been seeing these cards and as we've been seeing them, revealed. And that is that I think that this is going to be, with the exception of pre-set one sort of media relations, I think set six is probably going to be FFG's biggest challenge with this game. And the reason I say that is because I think, based on the subject matter of this game, and again, these are all my opinions. This is all how I feel about it. Everybody can feel differently, and I have no problem with that at all. But based on what we've been seeing so far out of this set, like, the gameplay has to be exceptional when set six drops, because with the subject matter, you're not going to get as many people that are instantly in and hyped to open these cards, right? Like, you're opening a bunch of officials, you're opening politicians, you're opening some obscure characters. And yeah, are there going to be Andor super fans like myself who are super stoked to see Andor characters? Obviously, of course. Are there going to be prequel trilogy fans that are going to be amped that the spotlight decks are, Sheev and Padme? And 100%, incredibly. Power to you. I love that. I love every, sort of avenue in which Star Wars makes itself known. I think, again, when you're not so, and it's super early, so all of this could change. But so far, like, as you're going through these cards and you're seeing named official, unnamed official, named politician, unnamed politician, random droid, less random underworld character. These aren't super popular Jedi, super popular bad guy, super popular gunslinger, things of that nature. So I think that because of that, set six is going to have to be carried by its gameplay, which, we've had a really healthy meta so far. With set 4 and 5 dropping, gameplay is really improved. It's really sort of, spread itself out and found a home with a lot of people. So it's not that I'm not confident with that. FFG is, with Star Wars Unlimited specifically, FFG has given me no reason to doubt them, and I'm not going to start now. But I do think it's going to be a challenge because they're going to have to rely on the gameplay to draw people rather than some of these cards.
I think those are all fair points, and I would, for the most part, echo them. I do think that it's stuff from Andor being in the game is going to be a major selling point.
Yep.
I really believe that.
Yep.
And yes, I agree with you on the gameplay point as well. I don't think FFG can afford another Twilight of the Republic.
No.
I think that's if I have any concern, it's that. Just, there's a lot of alignment already between some of the characters and some of the things that are coming out of that set versus this set. Very Republic heavy, prequel heavy stuff. And so, obviously hoping we don't see that again. Both from a flavor and from a competitive play standpoint, because set 3 didn't really give us much on the competitive front either. I can already sort of tell that's not going to be the case here. I think plot is going to be a really powerful mechanic. But yeah, it's a fair point to make. When we last two sets we've had pilots, very attractive and fun, Jedi, iconic Star Wars characters. This is not going to be that. So how do we how does that reconcile with what else is happening? And so I'm with you on this take. I think I have a little bit more hope at this point, even with these first few cards. I think it's still going to be a strong set for the game, but definitely, the last time we saw some of these characters roll around, it was set 3, which kind of bombed. So hoping that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, and to be fair, look, there's 200 cards left to spoil,
Right.
or more. I don't know the exact count, but like, there's a very real possibility that all these fears get washed away in the next week when we see some iconic characters drop and everybody's happy, right? What I will say is that if there's one way to get me amped about opening cards, it's really cool looking cards. And the prestiges in this set look absolutely phenomenal. So there are two different variations. There's the propaganda and there's the renegade. This is an example of the propaganda with Major Partagaz. I guess
Mhm.
those are reserved more for the officials and the politicians and things of that nature. I think this looks incredible. This is going to look
Yep.
incredible with in foil. I'm really
Yep.
excited to open cards that look like this. They also showed a Bail Organa that looked really sick. So I was pretty excited to see that. But really, the gem of this set to this point, based on what we've seen, are the Renegade cards, and I cannot get over how good this looks. I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even care about Cad Bane, and I want this card in foil desperately because it looks so good.
Yeah.
Like, and I know already that just looking at this picture is not going to do the actual card justice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, if there's one way to get people excited about maybe not necessarily their favorite characters, but really cool looking cards, like I think these prestige variants are an absolute home run, both propaganda and renegade, and I'm so jazzed to rip some carbonite packs to get them.
Yes, yes, the card art is definitely taken a huge leap forward. And not to get away from the set 6 conversation too much, but I also think this is true for some of the prizing we've seen, like for the regional
Mm-hmm.
events from
Yep.
this set, like and the Galactic Championship like special event cards, like the
Yep.
treatments on all of these have been absolute fire. And
Stellar.
this is no different. Like and it's new and it's unique, right? This is so different from anything else we've seen in the game to this point,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what really stands out to me is just how much of a stamp, right, this particular art choice is going to have for this set specifically. And if they kind of take this like unique approach set by set going forward, oh man, that's going to be awesome to see.
Yeah, this is definitely miles better than set fives, prestige treatments. Um,
Completely agree.
I think it's better than set fours prestige treatments, and those were obviously a hit. As
I like my ships. I like my ships, so
Sure,
the set four ones really call to me.
sure,
But no, I hear you. This is really, really good stuff.
really good, really good. Well, we've gone pretty long already, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But the excitement is just going to keep building as it always does. I'm not super worried again about having any of these doubts sort of washed away because I think they will be. But it'll remain to see, what other selling points they can make besides just the actual characters themselves. Like set five was such an easy sell in my book because it was like every character you could ever want to play Star Wars with, you found in set
Yep.
five, right? And so now it's like, okay, piggybacking off of that, how are they going to drag us in? And I'm sure it'll happen. It's just a matter of time. But already we've seen some mechanics that are good, some cards that are good, um, and we'll keep talking about them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what else is coming. I mean, you know, I've had such an eye to post rotation swoo ever since the PQ, and
Yep,
that's sort of the lens that I'm viewing all of this stuff in now.
yep,
And so that makes it even more interesting to just kind of see what direction things are headed in based on the last two sets, what we're getting from this new set, and how things are going to look come, March, because it's going to be a whole new game.
yeah. Really excited for rotation. But we got to get through set six to get there, and I'll be just as excited when set six drops as I have for every other set because this game is awesome and I love playing it and I love getting more of it. So, um, but thank you all for listening. Thank you for sticking around with us. For those of you who have, really appreciate giving us a little bit of your precious time. Again, if you liked or didn't like what we discussed here today, let us know how you feel in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks everybody. For my brother Corwin, I'm Kevin, signing off. Take care, everyone.